everyone. Going at it on a Saturday night match reaction. Dan, bless him, has been painting the bathroom a different colour over the last couple of days. Managed to watch it, but not able to join us tonight. So it's a full house. We've got Luke, School of Science. We've got Rob. We've got Keezy. Paul Cass en route home from the game. Fresh out of Goodison Park. Doesn't look ill. Looks fairly chirpy. Cass, how did you feel about it? 0-0.
Happy with the result. For me, that's a big point against a good team. We had our chances to score. Well, they put the ball in the net and they had their chances to score. But if you'd have told me a point and keep them to 0 before the game, I'd have took it all day. So very happy. And I thought the effort was brilliant, 1-11.
What was the crowd reaction like to Gordon? I know the answer, but I'd just like to hear it from your sweet lips.
Yeah, very hostile. Every single time he touched it. Both as a collective group and individually from every fan as well.
Luke, how are you feeling?
You know what? I'm actually pretty happy with that result, to be honest. If someone said to me it's going to be a 0-0 game after we heard the news about Branthwaite being away, Mikalenko being away, and having the other injuries alongside it, as well as just our general performance so far this season, I would have quite happily have taken it. I mean, I am disappointed that the Corey's one didn't stand. I'm also happy with the penalty save. I know the commentators wanted to make out that it was not a good save by Pickford, but a poor penalty by Gordon. But in all honesty, a save's a save, and it was a good save.
No, good shout, good shout. Rob, initial thoughts? I know it's 0-0 and everything, but you happy with it?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what the lads have said, happy with the result, the clean sheet, saved the penalty. Gordon missed the penalty. We can build on that. I would have taken a point probably before the game. Man of the match performance from Sir Michael Keane, which I wasn't sure I was expecting. But having said all that, I won't lie. As happy as I am with it, it was a really, really terrible game of football. It was really hard to watch at times, and I'm very glad it's over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what did we spoke about it last night on the preview and everything, and John from Newcastle was spot on with how they were going to line up. We were kind of in our lineup hoping for different than we got, but we pretty much had it nailed on. And they tried to sneak Keane and Young in. As soon as the lineup came with the numbers, it was almost like, oh, Young's not playing. Maybe we've only got one of them. But then they were right there next to each other. When you saw the lineup, boys, what did we think? Cass, were you happy with how we started lineup-wise?
No, because I thought... I actually thought Gordon was going to line up against Young. And I thought he'd have too much pace and trickery and probably turn him inside out. But strangely enough, I thought our left side of defence with Keane and Young actually stopped any progression from them more. I thought they had a lot more joy down our right, their left against Tarkowski and Garner. And Keane did a lot of sweeping up, in fairness, as did Young.
Yeah, I mean, online, Tark's obviously got a bit of a one or two shouts against him tonight just because of the penalty. I mean, me and Luke have just been talking about it. We're talking WWE and everything. So, did everyone in the ground think it was a penalty? Because the replays weren't very good, to be honest.
Well, they didn't actually show the replay, but someone went out at half-time and then came back in and said, yeah, it was a pen. I've not seen it, but apparently he throws him to the ground.
Oh, mate.
Oh, it was good, Luke, yeah.
Oh, very much so. It was something out of WWE that. It was quite literally Tarkowski off the top rope, putting them onto the floor. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was a penalty. I would like to argue against it, but there was just nothing on this earth that would say, oh no, actually, he could have got away with it. It was Stonewall.
All right, fair
It
enough.
was a bit. Yeah, what did you think, Rob?
I could have killed Tarkowski. I just was looking at him thinking, what were you thinking? Like, what were you thinking? Like, he hands all over him. He takes a couple of swipes at him, tries to pull him a few times, and then when Canali's not moving, he just sort of two hands him and grabs him and throws him about 2 or 3 yards. And the funny thing was, after they get the penalty, he goes over to the referee and he's sort of asking why it's a penalty, and it's madness, really. And like, Tarkowski's been a bit up and down this season. But that was insanity. And again, I think if Michael Keane had done that, he'd be getting non-stop
He does off the
abuse.
pitchfork.
We tend to give Tarks a bit of a free pass, but that was stupid. Like, it really was stupid.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what was interesting is I don't know why we've actually got the VAR camera right in front of the away fans. I don't know why that's a thing that we've managed. What do you reckon, Luke? You got something?
I was sitting by the VAR cam last game. So where the VAR screen is, it's between the home and away fans. So it's pretty much on the where you get it, like directly. It's about 5 seats away from where I was sitting. And I'm about 10, 15 away from where the away fans are. So it is technically in our end still, but because of the camera angle, it looks like it's right by the away fans. But Jesus Christ, that thing, in all honesty, that thing needs to be somewhere where it's outside of influence altogether. You can't have home or away fans screaming at the referee whilst they're doing it. It doesn't work. There needs to be like an isolated cube or something, or whether you have to go down the stairs away from the fans altogether to make that decision. But then again, that would probably start taking on more time.
They just need to stop making the referees go to the screen and make a decision themselves.
Well, having said that, it would have been nice if they'd have sent the referee to the screen for our penalty shout, which he
Now
never even
that
went
did
to the
look a
screen.
penalty.
Oh, we were talking about that as well, weren't we, Paul?
So
Yeah.
he wasn't even sent to the screen. Look, I thought it was a penalty. I thought on the replay it was a penalty. I thought on the second replay it was a penalty. The third replay I looked and I went, oh, does Calvert-Lewin kick him? So I don't understand why he
will
wasn't
kick
sent to
someone
the
if
screen.
they're sliding in on you.
3 times,
Yeah.
if I've seen it
this
3
was the thing
times,
that,
I don't know how the referee has have a look. I can't understand how that hasn't happened.
yeah. Well, this was one of the things that Luke and I was just talking about before we came on, was the fact that actually, if you're going to trip someone up, you could easily just put your foot down. They would kick you, but they would fall because of that foot. That would be a free kick. Anywhere else on the pitch, it would be a free kick. So why is it not a penalty? I just don't get that. So when they're saying, "Oh yeah, but Calvert-Lewin's kicked in," you've literally put your foot in front of him, knowing that because he was nowhere near the ball, Burns put his foot down where he knows Calvert-Lewin's going to be putting his foot. So what's the difference? What is the difference? Nothing.
Oh, it's because of this badge.
I would have just loved the referee to have taken a look at it, just gone over and seen all the angles and make a call. I just don't know why sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But
Well,
there you go, consistency.
Yeah, Paulson's just got that holier than now look about him as well, hasn't he? Sort of looking down at all players and everything else. Just that sort of pompous, sort of Clive Thomas kind of face, one for the older viewers. Just looking down on us. How did we think we played? Because we didn't have a lot sort of opportunities. I think we had 5 shots, 6 shots, 1 on target, something like that. Newcastle were obviously very wasteful. Were we happy with what we did going forward, or are we just stuck in the same kind of nothingness, the attacking third?
I mean, I'd say myself, the way we played today, it was, as someone said here, Dyche, he's kind of playing like we're an away team all the time. But in all honesty, against that Newcastle team, you're talking about a lot of pace from the likes of Barnes, Gordon, and hell, even Almiron. They're all pacey And when they push up, they can catch us from behind. So the fact that we were able to hold them at bay, Gordon didn't get any clean shots on target. Barnes, similar. None of their players really had much of a opportunity, a goal that you would say, "Oh, if it wasn't for Pickford, that was definitely going in." We actually did hold them well. It's just going up. Now, don't get me wrong, Ilman and Dyche had some good moments. Decore actually had some surprisingly good moments, likewise with Keane. Calvert-Lewin, I'll be honest, I think he's better as a target man rather than someone trying to develop play. Because, don't get me wrong, gets the ball great, and then that's it. He gets the ball, comes to his feet, and then from there, it's a simple matter of all the player has to do is just get in front of him or just tap him. And it takes his string of thought out, and he loses the ball almost every single time. Harrison as well. Adds a decent game. Don't really remember much that really stood out to me with him.
No, what do you reckon, Rob? Are we a bit toothless just going forward? Have we got any sort of? I know Blues has mentioned about McNeil and Guy should have arguably, certainly at the target. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, what I'll say is, in all transparency, Newcastle should have won the game. They missed a penalty. Anthony Gordon had one where he went clean through and blazed it over the bar, 1-on-1. Enjoy cleared one off the line. Bruno Guimaraes shot off the line. Pickford was beaten. I don't know how much Enjoy knew about it. It sort of hit his back foot and somehow span around the post. So when you miss a penalty, you've won off the line, and you've got £45 million players missing one-on-ones. The luck was certainly with us. It did feel a lot like attack v defence at times. Didn't have a turn going forward. I was just looking at the stats there. Do you know we didn't have one corner kick in this game?
No, I think they had 12, didn't they?
I was waiting.
We had 0.
I think I'd said a few times, I think, if we get a corner, I've got a feeling Tarkowski might get on the end of it. We never did. Never did. Awful.
We had 0, which will tell you how, McNeil hit a few speculative efforts, which on another day might hit somebody and go out. And that's definitely a Dyche tactic. A tactic is to get set plays. But yeah, look, did we deserve to win the game? No. Was a point about right? Yeah. But in all honesty, if Newcastle had a bit more about them, they'd have beaten us comfortably today. But look, I'm not complaining. It's a point. It's a clean sheet. And hopefully it's something to build on. So we'll see where we go from here.
I think one of the things from pre-match was when we were talking to John Sinclair for Newcastle, we were riling him a little bit, but it's kind of come in truth, really, in the fact that we said that if they didn't win, then they would be disappointing. And I think the way that they've actually played and not scored, and actually hadn't hit the target until towards the end, if that. I'm just trying to check stats now. They'll be gutted. Absolutely gutted. We're quite happy with it. Say that again.
Yeah. I was just saying, Newcastle, for all their dominance, they only had 3 shots on target. So, they had all the ball, but they didn't absolutely pepper our goal at the same time. So it's a better point for us than it is for them. But look, they were no great shakes either. They plenty the ball without doing a whole lot with it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't sit here and say we held on. It never really felt like we were holding on. They were wasteful. We didn't offer too much, and it was a 0-0 game, really. I mean, if ever you've seen a 0-0 game, this was probably it. So yeah.
I mean, I didn't think it was devoid of any action or anything else, especially first half. I think even for the neutral, they might have been a little bit interested about it. Second half probably did drag for anyone who wasn't a toffee or a toon, but there was certainly action involved, I would have thought. Anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
there was a disallowed goal, a penalty, one off the line. Luke, you had a bit more to add there.
Yeah, so in regards to the first half, that was pretty much where every ounce of that football was. Second half, in all honesty, it was just, at that point, it was just poking and prodding. There wasn't really significant parts of the game, even looking at the sofa score, there wasn't significant parts of the game there where you'd say, oh, that team absolutely dominated it for the majority of the game. Most of it was quite literally just, like I said, it was end-to-end, and we always love end-to-end football. But when it came to this sort of end-to-end football, it was pretty mediocre, to say the least. I think the squad that we've got right now, we do actually need Branthwaite and Mykolenko. Hell, I'd even argue and say Patterson we could probably do with as well, because at least with Patterson, he will push up. James Garner did actually push up at times, and he did. Actually, did all right as a right back. In all honesty, he kept Harvey Barnes really quiet. Barnes did have a few moments here and there, but James Garner was pretty much on top of him immediately, and he dispossessed him quite a lot. And he did actually put him on the floor a few times as well. But a guy of his size, that's really well done. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. That 33 possession, though, for a home team, that's for most other teams, you'd be very disappointed with that.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I
mean,
so stats-wise, like you say, stats-wise, it's kind of against us, isn't it? Those 10 corner kicks for Newcastle for a start off. That's kind of a it's one stat to go off, and obviously, like possession and everything else, we're never going to be very high on it. But as a defending as a side, we seem to just about do enough and just to get away with it. Go on, Cass. What were you going to say?
I thought the first 20 minutes would probably 25 minutes was our best spell before. What minute did Dukes' disallowed goal go in?
It's on the bottom of the screen. Actually, 18 for the disallowed goal, and then 18. The penalty save was 35. Yeah.
Because I actually think that was a turning point, and Newcastle seemed to wake up from that disallowed goal. Because I actually thought we looked quite good going. I know Calvert-Lewin had a scuffed chance after beating a few players, but I actually thought that we were looking good and going to do something out the game. But then, I mean, their passing and movement off the ball's a lot better. Like, when we were lumping the ball up to Calvert-Lewin, our midfielders were like 15, 20 yards away, and you've got no chance of getting the second ball when that happens. But the first 20 minutes, we were surrounding him and making our way up. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we hung off or they just got better.
Yeah. One thing I was saying last night was that I said to the Newcastle fans was I don't expect us to come out and take you on, especially the last games that we've had, the Palace game and everything else. We defend our own half. So when we suddenly had a high line and we were pressuring the Newcastle back four, some of you were saying, oh, good, this is very positive. But actually, I was thinking, Christ, they're going to catch us on the break with three fast lads up front. So it was one of those, to be honest, that was kind of made me a little bit uneasy, but excited at the same time. And like you say, Decore's goal woke them up a little bit, and suddenly we were defending our half, and I don't think that changed after that point either. I don't know what you think, Luke.
No.
Right. Well, we got a few people in. There's been a bit of an issue with Twitter or X tonight, so some people might watch this as a recording afterwards. So thank you very much if you do like and subscribe as well. Put a smile on poor ill Dan's face. Blues is in. He's just saying about the chances that we had. That one actually, it comes across from the right hand side. I can't remember if it was Young or whatever. Crosses it in. Could be wrong. Decore goes to jump and then out of it just before sort of McNeil is about to hit a left foot shot, like he scored his second against Palace. Doesn't connect. That was a good half decent chance. Also mentioned about Garner Gay. If Garner Gay had actually put that one on target, I don't think the DCL penalty shout would have even been a thing, because just Pope was stood there almost sort of saying, no, it's not a penalty. And then Garner comes in and blazes it high and handsome, unfortunately. Come on, you Blues is in. Still not happy with Dyche. Sit back and move the ball long up DCL to do something. So when he gets isolated, it's hard work, isn't it, Cass?
Yeah, Matt, you can see it. Like, as soon as the ball gets lumped up, our two midfield players just they should be 5 to 10 yards next to him, but they're not. They're about 15, 20. I can't remember a time where we lumped the ball up to him, and it is just a lump. It's not like a purposeful pass, where we actually made an effort get close. It was like we were more concentrating on protecting the back four rather than actually progressing. The only time we actually progressed was when we went route wide, and either Njai did something or McNeil would play a few like 1-2s with Dyche and stuff, and then we create half a gap down the right or left. But apart from that, it was like the midfield was just there to protect the back four. And I think we actually got more forward when Gay came on, because he can stop any counter-attacks by himself, really, if he's left behind by himself.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I thought when we had a couple of switches around second half, but Neil went on to the right-hand side, and Garner looked a little bit exposed, actually, when that happened, because I think Neil was trying to be that person within 5 or 10 yards of DCL. But Decore is never that kind of person, is he? Even when he's in that number 10 role, he's never kind of anticipating where the ball's going to go off DCL.
Nope.
So he just looks as though he's off the pace then, doesn't he?
Yeah. And I think, I don't think he's got the great first or second touch either. So a lot of the time he'll have the ball, and we never keep hold of it anyway. Whereas I think if you had someone like Garner centrally there who's picking up the ball, you've got more chance of keeping hold of it and passing it to an Everton player in a more prominent position. And that's nothing against Dyche, because he absolutely works his trolleys off for 90 minutes, but sometimes you need to. It's all right running the hard yards, as Dyche says, but sometimes you do need some technical ability just to keep, not even if you don't get up the pitch, just keep you in that position, because it takes a lot of pressure off when you're in the opposition half.
Yeah. Oh God, definitely. I mean, could we have made any changes sort of higher up the pitch? Do you think that would have made a difference?
I'd say so. I mean, in that situation, the way Dyche did it there, it was quite literally. I think when he had done the adjusted Gay sub, he was going for the whole, you know what, I'm gonna just go with the 0-0. I think he'd actually given up in some way on the thought of an attack. I mean, what he could have done is done the reverse of what he did at Crystal Palace and brought Harrison off and brought Jesper Lindstrom on. Could have done something like that. He could have. There's many ways of doing it that he could have done. I mean, I'm just trying to think of what we actually had on the bench. I mean, he could have even brought, say, Decore off and said, you know what, screw it, let's go all attack, and threw Better on, because I think Better would have just been that little bit of presence around their defensive line just to, annoy, or even, like get around Fabian Schär or something like that, and just do enough to, put him off and try and open up a little bit of space for Calvert-Lewin. Something like that. I mean, we had plenty of ways of going about it, but as you know, Dyche ball is very one-dimensional. Lump the ball up, hope the attacker gets onto it. After about 60, 70 minutes, if it's still 0-0, don't go for broke. We'll shut up the ship, because to win 1 point's better than none, instead of trying to risk it for all three. And it's very predictable, to be honest. I think when we do face the likes of Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, when we go up against one of them, if their manager has any announcement about them, they'll just watch that. They'll wait for around the 50th minute mark, 60-minute mark, and then just say, screw it, open the floodgates on them, just complete press right up the top, give them absolutely no room, and just attack. And that's how they'll cause us to fold.
I actually thought our long ball failed.
Yeah, Rob, agree.
I didn't want to talk over Paul. You were saying something, Paul?
I was saying I thought our long ball tactic.
You think long ball went a bit pear-shaped?
To be honest, it's not. I don't think it is going to work, to be honest, because we've got the wrong player for long ball. Calvert-Lewin is not great with the ball at his feet. If anything, I think Schmidt would be the best option for that sort of thing when he's fit and ready. With Calvert-Lewin going right up top, what normally happens when that long ball comes up, the defenders go, right, he's the only one. they'll just basically surround him the second he gets the ball. Even if he does get the ball, and it was proven many times in this game, either one defender will get it off him or the other defender will get him off him. It's very rare that he actually was able to get the ball, turn, and either make a pass or have a crack.
I think what you said it is true. I think when he was in the box for that penalty shout, he probably should have buried it first time. Calvert-Lewin for me.
I mean, a bit of a harder hit, and I think it would have actually have just either went under Nick Pope's arm, or it probably would have even bounced over it, because he didn't get a convincing palm on it. It was basically fingertips, and it just sort of rolled back out to him quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, in the as we are kind of a fair channel and give everyone a fair shout, it's good to hear Akasakas in there today. He's actually having a go at his own side, but he's very sympathetic of our poor form and everything we've had to put up with. I tell you what, I mean, if we had, well, hopefully we do have people who can give us a bit of wedge and guide us in the right way, very much like I'm sure Newcastle have, but I'm sure there'll be times when even we can't beat these lowly sides away from home. In fact, actually, I think Newcastle's form is a bit up and down away from home, isn't it? Was it Bournemouth last time? So it's been one of those games. I think we're quite happy that Gordon messed up his opportunities so we could have a little bit of a laugh at him. Pickford played decent, but Newcastle go back with a draw, so I'm sure they'll all be happy with that.
It could be worse. Didn't they get pumped 3-0 at Goodison last year?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Was that the Ole game? I think that was the Ole game, wasn't it? Yeah.
You know what? At least you got a clean sheet. It's not all doom and gloom.
No,
all fun, guys. All fun.
I wonder how much Solani had on the odds for this one. Did he have a tenner on this one? Did he?
Yeah, there was someone who said
for Gordon to miss. He threw him a little backseat.
He did ask if the Ivan Toney of Newcastle was playing today. So there's your answer for that one. Emrah's apparently missed and everything else. But Blues.
He looks like freaking Kylo Ren, doesn't he? He's the team Kylo Ren.
Well, maybe he could use the ball.
Oh God.
I wish I had. I tell you what, I posted a 10-game hacker today, like I normally do, like a random lucky dip in the National Lottery, giving me the same odds as actually winning the National Lottery, and nowhere near one of those days. And actually, in the pre-match, we asked everyone the score predictions. Not one person said 0-0. In fact, actually, I don't think anyone put a team to not score in our game today. We had lots of 3-1s. We had 2-1s, 1-1s, stuff like that. But if you were going for both teams to score, that would have ballsed up your hacker. Actually, would have ballsed it up completely.
I don't know if anybody uses live score. Do you use live score in the UK?
Yeah. No, the only one I ever use is SofaScore.
Right, so live score is basically the same thing. You have all the scores of the games, handy for keeping tracks of your accumulator or whatever. But before the games, they give you a prediction too. So you can go in and they'll give you their suggestion on what you should do. And today's suggestion on the Newcastle Everton game was to pick the result 0-0 at 19-1. And then it gave a paragraph as to why they suggest 0-0. Basically saying Everton don't score many, Newcastle are not great from home, blah, 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 blah. 0-0 at 19-1. And I went, don't worry about that. And there you go. So they were on the money.
Wow. I mean, I've always been a little bit suspicious about the horse racing, Rob, to be honest. And it's very big in Ireland. I'd hate to think that the football was being sorted out as well.
Well, I don't know. We can't claim any involvement in that. So Paddy Power has its sources, I'm sure. And at least we won't be on fan denial this week, sure that'll probably be Wolves, I would suggest, after today's result. But we'll get a pass from El Paddy, because Paddy does love to take the mickey out of everything. He really does. Paddy gives us some abuse. So do we get a week off?
Oh no, we'll
And,
still find a way to do it.
Yeah, true. And if anyone's watching the replay of the penalty, look out for Emma. She was right behind the goal in Lower Gladys. See her jumping over everyone. Look out for that tonight. Match of the day. Might watch it again tonight, actually. I think we did watch bits last week. So, Cass looks as though he's on a ferry across the Mersey, to be honest. Are you still there, Cass?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Good lad, yes, we can.
I thought there was a general. I know it happens every week, and I don't normally bring up referees, but I thought a lot of decisions went their way today.
I think they got the lion's share of the yellow cards, though.
Yeah, well, I thought a lot of fouls that weren't fouls were awarded to them in that first half, especially when we were in the ascendancy in that first 20 minutes. I don't know what were the replays like on the telly, because they looked a bit soft from where we were.
The problem with the replays is they slow it down, so anything that was soft looks immediately more brutal, in my opinion. Because, I mean, the Tarkowski one, when they slow that down, it basically looks like he's just grabbed him by his shirt and threw him like he was going for literally about to hit him with the bloody elbow.
Do you know why it looks like that, Luke? Because that's exactly what he did.
He was thinking, down.
Oh my God! I still don't know what he was thinking. He
wasn't.
absolutely threw him.
Tarkowski, if he never made it as a footballer, I think he would have been great in MMA.
Yeah.
Don't worry about old Israel. It'll be good. It'll be bloody Tarkowski battering up Paddy.
Yeah, good. We haven't had a good British Bulldog for years, to be honest.
Two red lights and it's scaring the hell out of me.
Yeah. Are they your eyes, Cass?
Yeah.
They're his eyes, I think.
I know a lot of people are saying it was shocking, but the fact that we got a 0-0, we need to take that as a positive. There's so many people saying we were bad, it's hard to watch and all that. But to be honest, we were okay. We were, like I said, we were okay with the transition. It was the final third that ruined it for us. I think if we were to, let's say we had a decent striker, if we had Lukaku still, or Richarlison, I think we would have walked away with that about 2-0.
Yeah, there's a level of player in there that we don't quite have at the moment. You know, there's a level of player that we want and we don't quite have in attacking positions. We have Branthwaite, we have Pickford. I think they're the biggest assets that we've got, to be honest. But NJ could become something like that. I thought he was again fantastic today. He just takes on players with fun. Yeah. We just need someone to be able to put it in the net and just try and anticipate this absolute shocking service that we've been giving out for the last couple of years, at least.
I wonder if Man City would be willing to let us borrow Haaland off them. He wasn't doing much in the other game today.
Yeah, he was quiet.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those games where even if Broja was fit, he would.
I know a lot of people would have been sneezing if they had him in the fantasy squad.
Oh, awful day for fantasy people, I'd say. I was going to say, Rob, yeah, you're right. You know, what's happening with Broja? I mean, it's the weirdest loan signing ever.
I mean, it's one of them. It works out for us, to be honest, because while he's still on the treatment bench, they're paying his wages. We're not paying a penny. When he makes his first appearance, we stop paying. So when he comes on, we need to hope that he really hits the ground running. I'm expecting at least 20 goals from him when he starts per game.
Per game.
It's a complete lately getting hard to watch.
We need to change our playing style for Broja, though.
Yeah, sorry, go on. I'll put that back.
He's with Armando Broja. He's someone who likes to pick the ball up and run at the defense. So in that sort of style, you'd want Pickford to work it out from the back, get it into the midfield, and they push it up to him. But yeah, Sean K, what was he saying?
So what you're saying is he won't play, basically.
Oh God, no! He's basically another version of Jake O'Brien. He'll never get a feature.
Okay, fair enough.
Basically,
Speaking of Jake O'Brien,
Gary Allen and Broja on the bench.
Jake O'Brien, the feedback in Ireland here at the moment on Jake O'Brien is not particularly positive. He's been left out of the most recent Ireland squad altogether. The Irish fans are not happy that he moved to Everton. They think it's a bad move. It's costing him international caps. They think he should have stayed at Lyon another year, or maybe gone to a championship, or maybe another Premier League club. It's not really working out so far.
They back.
Yeah,
O'Brien,
I mean,
they're not blaming him for not being for
no,
not breaking into
they
the
just
side
think
for whatever reason, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they think it was a poor move for him to take. They think maybe the people advising him on his career should have told him to hold on another year, or maybe go somewhere else where he was guaranteed minutes, because his international place, there's a new Irish international manager after Stephen Kennedy was sacked, and he's actually not in the Ireland squad at all now at the moment. Whereas he would have been one of the first names on the team sheet in the last kind of international rounds. He didn't play against England, but that's kind of a hot and heavy game anyway. So the feedback from a lot of the League of Ireland Twitter accounts and Reddit pages is a really bad move for O'Brien career-wise. I hope he gets in the team, but so far it hasn't really worked for him.
So do I love the lad. He's a really good lad. And from what I've seen from him, he's a very robust defender, which is what we really do actually thrive with in the squad. It's, in all honesty, Dyche starting Michael Keane, even though he played really well today, and he did get, I'd say, joint man of the match with Pickford, I would probably be turning around and saying, you know what, O'Brien, you're going to prove your point with us. Next game, I'd say against Ipswich, next game, you could probably even argue and say, you know what, we'll try you at right back, see how you get on. I do think he needs the minutes, though, desperately. Oh.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good enough. The fact that Keane either has got, some sort of dirt on Dyche, or Dyche is going to hang his hat and die on it, via Keane, is just bizarre. Someone posted, it's either Dyche has seen something where O'Brien is absolute crap, or he's playing his best mate over someone who's better. Which one is it?
My main argument's more down to the fact that Dyche likes his Burnley boys, because it's Michael Keane, Tarkowski, and McNeil for the most part, and they always make a feature. Even right now, McNeil, although he's playing really well, he's got a lot of issues off the pitch, and I think it'd be more beneficial for him to only be doing bit parts at the moment rather than doing full 90 features. But Dyche seems to think that he can do the full 90. I mean, I think probably say around the 60, 70-minute mark, I would have said, Keane, mate, you've had a good run. Let's rest your legs for a bit. Get someone else on. Get Lindstrom on. Tell, what's her name? Tell Ndai to come in the middle. Get, maybe Harrison, get him on the left. Do something like that. But obviously he's never going to do that. And then the only reason Tarkowski, well, to be honest, Tarkowski's built like an absolute brick wall. The only time, if he's ever injured, it's a bad injury, and it's only brief when he's actually injured. But in some situations, I think Dyche needs to turn around to Tarkowski and say, mate, cool your head a bit. You cost us a penalty there. Thankfully, Pickford saved that, but in most other situations, that was going in. We would have lost that game as a result. So calm it down, or you're gonna have to, take some time on the bench.
No, it's a fair shout. I mean, just looking at the table there, it's obviously very early days in everything. Are we feeling better than we were? Obviously, we're feeling slightly better than we were 2 weeks ago.
Right, lads, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to jump off and leave you still for the last 10 minutes, but I've enjoyed the chat, and I'll catch you later, okay?
Cool, Rob.
Take care,
mate.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
2 draws
but-
and a win in the last 3 games. So
Yeah.
yeah, feeling better.
Yeah, and I mean, sort of, if I say the sides that are around, so obviously, Cass, I don't know if you can see what we've got here on the table and everything. Wolves again,
It's
4
5
defeats in a
points and
row.
about 14th.
Yeah, well, we're 16th at the moment.
16th.
Yeah,
5 points.
5 points. So we got Wolves
9.
bottom, Southampton next, on both on 1, Palace on 18th, 3 points. Ipswich just behind us on 4. We're on 5. Leicester just above us on 6. We've still got a few games going soon against the likes of Ipswich and such. We're sure we must be better than some of those. 3 of them, at least 3 of them.
I think the biggest issue is I'll never ever forget Dyche for what he did last season, because any other manager and we would have been down. He literally saved Everton last season. He was probably the only man that could have done it. So I'll for always be indebted to him. However, this season with Lindstrom and Dye, Eric Boonham, the way McNeil's playing as well, we've actually got better attacking players this season, and he can't find that balance. I think the thing with Dyche is his job is to have us in the Premier League when we get to that new stadium. And I thought we would then progress under Dyche, but I think this season's showing that he is a one-trick pony and he hasn't got any diversity to his management style. And I think that's the biggest frustration at the moment, that we know they've got players. Now we've got a bit of speed and a lot of skill. We should and could probably do more. And I think we're better than 7 or 8 teams down there.
I honestly think if we were to get our act together, we could probably end up. I think if we were to get something sorted out from the next international break through to the end, we could still push for, I don't know, Europa Conference if we were to really dig in.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the team we got there, we could really benefit with using some pace on the width. But Dyche will never do that. He likes his 4-2-3-1s and his 4-4-2s. He doesn't like to he doesn't like to push for an attack. He likes to, make a solid foundation and keep it that. He'd rather us, have a boring 1-0 win versus an exciting 3-1 or 3-2 win. I mean, to be honest, we gave Martinez a load of crap for that, for having exciting football, but we had no defence.
Yeah, we did. And sometimes there is no happy medium. You either get one or the other. I think that's probably, but like I said, I think that's probably where the frustration's coming with him at the moment, because we do seem to have better players this season compared to last. We were awful last season. Awful. Like some of the games away Goodison and some of the alleged Premier League players of control. Awful. Absolute sterling job he did. But we do have better players, and I think the absence of Branthwaite has shown how critical he is to the team, even at a young age.
Yeah. I mean, anyone just joining us, just so you do know, Paul Caspel is not a robot and is a fan just walking his way back, just got to the car. I'm Goodison, roving reporter that he is. Didn't want to scare anyone watching.
It's not 2000. It's not 2024. The Space Odyssey. That isn't the Paul 9000 over there.
Yeah,
I'm on the spaceship back up to Mars.
Next game's obviously we've got a bit of an international break now. I mean, we go into that fairly relaxed. We're not rock bottom anymore, and some people are having it worse than we are. So going into the next few games,
Ipswich away, innit?
After we do come back, we've got Ipswich away, first one back. I mean, we've got, out of those 6 games, we've got 4 away games in the next 6.
And I'll be honest, the 4 away games are ones that I think 3 out of them 4 we could actually go for.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it kind of comes round fixture-wise. Later on, we would end up playing these sides at home in a fairly short space, so it could be helpful further down the line. I'd
Second
imagine
half of the season later on, we
Ipswich are a
have a
tidy
few
side,
home
but
games.
they've been getting battered a bit.
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Exactly. I mean, December's always shocking. I think last year we had 4, which included with Chelsea in there, and who was the
Well,
other one
this
in there? I
City.
Paul,
think we beat Forest in that as well. I can't remember.
yeah, we've got
Yeah,
after from the second week of December, we've got Liverpool at home, Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, City away. There are 4 games on the bounce. So we can't go into them games struggling for confidence and points. We need to be about 10th before that run.
Absolutely.
no, agreed.
I
Yeah,
mean,
agreed.
to be honest, the next 6 games,
Yeah,
I
that's a
think we could probably get
bit of a nightmare there, isn't it?
we could probably get 3 wins out of them next 6 games straight after this international break before we go in. I think if we were to push for a draw against Fulham, that would be a good result because they're absolutely hammering people at the moment. Man U, they're how can I put this nicely? They're a mess of a team. In all honesty, we're a mess, but so are they. So we should be able to, at least get in their heads.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen, couldn't it? Really could. But yeah, we've got some favourable fixtures. Nowhere where we think we'd be absolutely out of sight, but the international break. If he's not playing for Ireland, we've got O'Brien coming back. Anyone else that we're missing at the moment? Hopefully, Patterson is ready and firing.
Miko.
By the time we get back for that as well.
Mikolenko.
The ones at the moment.
It's most of our back 4, really.
Yeah.
It's our back 4 that's out.
Mikolenko's got a calf injury. Branthwaite's got a quad injury. Patterson, he's got a Dyche injury. What else?
Yeah,
Chimiti, I think he's coming back. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing I don't get. Nathan Patterson, when I would argue and just say, why not throw him on the right wing, see how he gets on, because he's amazing going up, but he's meh coming back. Yeah. So, right winger. That's what a winger's like. They're good going up, not great coming back. Try him like that. But I mean, our injury list at the moment is quite bad. I'll say quite bad. Once it decides to pull it up.
It's
just never works when you want it to.
Key positions, though. I mean, the fullback issue is just going to roll on, isn't it? It's absolutely going on. Patterson's amazing going on. Come on, Blues. He hasn't had a chance. Don't know if he can get past the halfway line yet. He hasn't got past the white line yet. So we'll have to see about that one. Obviously, Keane's still involved. I mean, love to get into.
As I said, Emma,
what does he know?
This is the problem, though, Emma. Dyche has got his little golden boys, and obviously Michael Keane's definitely got some pictures on him.
It's, I think I said when we had a pre-season meet up on Toffee Bluecast, Paul, and I came on it with you and Dan, and I said, the thing with Dyche, even with these new players, is he's very loyal to the players that he has and who have done a job for him. Even if he's got a better player, he's very loyal to those players that have been with him for a bit. And he'll utilise them even when it's not working sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, there's longevity in there, isn't there? And that's generally that's in lots of sort of industries, if you like, but definitely in football, where you've got managers who have players' backs and players will have managers' backs and everything else. Keane and Tarkowski, back in the day at Burnley, and you think about how long Keane's been with us, never mind Tarkowski, but how long Keane's been with us. It goes back a long way with Dyche, so I understand it a bit, but there's got got to be a point where it changes. I just don't know when that is. And the thing is, because we've kept a clean sheet now with Young and Keane in that side, if Branthwaite isn't, tip top 100%, past the grass and everything else, then those two will start again. And it'll just be an ongoing thing. And if we manage to win despite, weaknesses in the team, then it'll just keep happening. I think it'll just keep happening.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the top managers are ruthless when it comes to team selection. I know they have some of the favourites that they like, but as much as I hate him because he left Everton, Arteta soon got rid of Aubameyang, and he said it was hard because I actually like him. He was a friend of mine, but the top managers are just ruthless. Like Pep, if someone's not, he dropped Grealish for 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Pep is ruthless. I mean, he's got some of the best players on the planet, and they warm the bench.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, I think if you're gonna want to get a better performance and some more effort out of people by putting people in and giving them a chance when someone hasn't played so well, irrespective of who it is, even if it's the club captain. As much as I love Tarky, I don't think he's had the best start to the season. Maybe that'll give everyone an impetus to put a bit more effort into training, put a bit more effort into games. Like when they feel that the legs are a bit tired and they don't want to chase the ball, they might just chase that ball thinking, this will get me selected again for next week. And it's all them. He talks about the margins, but sometimes you've got to create the margins yourself by rewarding a bit of effort.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Or chastising poor effort or continuous mistakes, like people always getting sent off or people making poor decisions.
Yeah, he's very much against that, though, isn't he? He's very much against that. It's very much a teacher thing. Teacher thing we're often told is praise in public, and what was it? Reprimand, not maybe a reprimand, but
what was it? Praise in public, punish in private.
That's the one. And Dyche is very much like that. You should be a teacher.
Oh God, no! Me as a teacher,
he doesn't have to publicly reprimand anyone, but behind the scenes, he can just drop someone, can't he? Because they're not up to scratch.
And I think he did that with Harrison as well. Do you know what I mean? And he deserved it. He wasn't producing anything going forward. He wasn't affecting games. And then Lindstrom, it should have happened long before, but Lindstrom comes in, did all right, to be honest. Has a little bit of for whatever reason, not very happy in the first half in the last game. Harrison comes on, bam, changes the game. Again, though, he started today. Did he affect the game enough? It's that kind of thing.
I thought he played all right, in fairness.
Yeah.
It's a 6 out of 10 game.
Yeah. Average Joe, maybe. Average Joe.
Yeah. Apparently, that game against Crystal Palace, Lindstrom came off at half time. Oh, take care, bud.
Cheers next week.
Have a good one, mate.
Take it easy, bud.
Cheers.
Yeah, so I was saying then, again, in the Crystal Palace game, apparently Lindstrom came off at half time. Apparently, he'd had a bit of a niggle. He had a bit of an issue somewhere, and he just had to swap him. It was half the reason why he wasn't as effective in that first half, because you probably watched it. He had a few good moments and whatnot, but he was just getting wrestled off the ball way too easy, and he was getting bashed around. That wasn't his that wasn't what he's normally, what he normally does. He normally doesn't allow people to do that. He doesn't give them the chance. He's normally straight into the box and having a crack at goal.
Yeah. Because I do like him. I think he's got a bit of pace about him, good work ethic and everything else. Just not a good day for him. But I hope that's not stuck on his back now in Dyche's eyes. Do you know what I mean? I do hope he kind of does bring him on again, because you sort of have that when he went through off a flick on. I think it was either from Beto at the time or DCL. Keeper made a cracking save, left-handed save. If that goes in, it completely changes the outlook on Lindstrom over the last few weeks, doesn't it? So
Yeah,
hope he
absolutely.
gets his chance. Luke, I'm going to close this down, and thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to do the banner. Dan will be back, bless him. He's probably ripping his hair out that he couldn't be in on this one, to be honest.
He's
But I'm
cursing
sure
that
he'll be
porcelain throne
watching.
at the moment.
Exactly, yeah. It's going round. Everyone always says it's going round. So we'll be back in a week. In fact, actually, if Dan is well, we'll end up doing our happy hour thing, I think, on Tuesday. So that'll be a bit of fun. So I'll give you a shout, Luke, see if you're in for that. And
Best man, definitely.
have a good evening, everyone. A good weekend. Maybe not as joyful as it was last weekend, but we can be content and sleep well in our beds. So thank you, everyone, and take it easy. Just going to drop the banner now, as Dan always says, because it's dead easy to do. And see you soon, everybody.
Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.